Okay, class, welcome to weekly update 13, I think. Okay, so I finally have been waiting for some updates from the math department and the SSM administration about final exams. I have those and I'll get to that in a moment. But first, our usual challenge problems. Really nice job. The group, y'all seem like you had a good time with them. There's quite a variety of challenges. My favorite for the Vandal problem was group 1. CJ and Corbin did a really nice job color coordinating their space curves, RFT, with the equations when they were doing the calculations. And then group 7, Lane, Jen, and Sam did a fantastic job with many level ups. Interesting to see how they attack that problem. And then challenge number 4 was the drone chasing. This was cool. Not too many folks chose this one, but Lucas, Lacey, and Peyton had a really nice approach to how they thought about quantifying the quality of the drone pilots. And then challenge 5 was roller coaster. A couple groups did this. I really like group 5, which is Grace, Cam, and Jonathan. Their roller coaster was interesting. And then also group 12, Michael, Eddie, Kyra, and Cameron. Another really interesting roller coaster. Okay, and then the last one was challenge number 6, auditorium. My favorites for this were group 8, Joe, Brianna, and Filippo. Very nice images from Calplot 3D of the auditorium and then the current integrals that you were getting. And then group 13 was Christian, Zach, and Charles. Again, excellent images that really made it clear that you understood the problem. Okay, and then as usual, I've put samples and examples in from module 7. And let me see if I can pull these up for a minute. Okay, so it was module 6 you guys were in, week 2. This week's assignments, I dumped these again, as usual, in the usual spot for samples and examples under week 2. I really enjoyed Sam's, Kyra's, Ellie, Haley, Haley with an AI, Lily, Joe, Rian, and Christian Collins. So check them out there. They're really both the calculations and the activities. Excellent work by those folks. Okay, module 7, you guys have gotten started. And there is no challenge problem in this one on purpose. I mean, there's ones in the book, but they are not required. If anybody wants to do it, you can shoot it to me as bonus. Just send it to me as email, either individually or with your group, but it's not required because I want you guys to have time to study for your final. So let me talk a little bit more about that. I did last week, but your final, I made a module 8, a final review module. Mentioned that before. I've added a few more things. We've got new journal pages from journal 3. I already had those, and then this past over break, I worked hard to add some more for journal 3.5 for topics that I thought you guys might need a little more help with. And so you'll see those there. And then you also see the midterm calculation practice and answers by Laney and final calculation practice. So I put some problems there. That's way more than you will see on your final exam, but it's a good one to just go through. I urge you to use your teammates and your classmates. Some people talk about having study buddies for the final. It's time to start doing that. And so some advice for the final exam and then some more details. So, reminder, I don't think any of you need this though, but the withdrawal deadline has been extended because it's such a weird semester. So if that's the case, if you're not sure about how you're doing in this class or lower grades lower than you want, you have till actually December 7th, I believe, to withdraw. Another reminder is course surveys. Please fill those out. You should have gotten several emails for all your classes, and it's very important. This is a particularly important time because not just those surveys, but also in general, the college is sort of in flux trying to figure out what's going to happen. Looks like the spring semester is going to be similar, to try to figure out who can teach what types of classes. We're now having more and more formats. So for any of your teachers, if there's things that you liked or didn't like, folks that you think are doing a good job in this particular format or should have another one, send an email to chairs, to deans. Those, more than any other time probably in the history of the college, your voice is being heard and they're appreciating what you guys have to say about this delivery system. So please fill out those course surveys or shoot emails of with things you're passionate about to, again, department chairs and deans. That will be read. Okay, now back to the final exam. So the final exam is going to be open. I haven't put it in yet, that's my homework. I have written it out on paper, but it's just gonna take me a while to get into OAKS with all the features. But it will be open on Friday, December 11th, and closed I think that's the last day of finals, which will be Sunday, December 13th at 11:59. So I'll open it up at like 1 in the morning on Friday. So you'll have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But once you decide you're ready to take it, if you get your 2-hour time block, what you're gonna do is go into OAKS. But this, unlike any other OAKS assignment we've had, this will, once you start it, you have 2 hours and it'll stop. You cannot complete, you can't pause it. It's, if you decide I'm gonna take this at 11 o'clock, it'll close you out at 1 p.m. So whatever your timetable works, and when you've done your studying, you're ready to attack it, you have that 2-hour window. Another thing, it is open to your journals. So you might want to start putting like little tabs and notes or something to help you if you need to find something quickly. But what I'd suggest instead is, because we only have 2 hours and this is a hard deadline, is go ahead and make a study guide. It's open to notes. So make yourself a study guide. You want to work in teams or something and share that. So the important formulas that you're going to need to know, terms, you'll have them right there at the ready. The format for us is, again, in OAKS, but it will be probably 25 to 35 concept questions. So again, I'm shooting around 30 concept questions. I have some written out that I have in mind. You'll see things similar to what you have in the journal, but maybe not quite exactly the same. So those are good to practice at the end of the chapters. Those should only take you, to do those of roughly 30 problems, and I've timed this multiple times, 10 to 15 minutes, at most 20 minutes, which leaves the remainder of the time. That's very important that we have so much time to do the calculation problems this semester. And I'm aiming for maybe 12 to 15 calculation questions, but I'm going to do everything on my end to try to make sure, again, that you have to know your stuff, and you have to know, you can't be like learning something, looking through the journal, trying to learn how to do a particular calculation. Oh, there's an example like this. Don't have time for that. But I don't want time to be a super big issue either. So I doubt anyone's going to finish much earlier than the 2 hours, but in that 2 hours, you shouldn't feel too stressed, because I'm going to do a few things, and that's my job on this end, is to try to, like if it's possible that I can tighten up and make the calculations a little bit easier. So if I'm asking you to find critical points, I might give you a couple, and then you only have to find a few more. If I'm asking you to do d-test, I'm not going to ask it for every critical point that you found. I might just isolate 1 or 2 and say, do the d-test for this particular critical point. Let's see, what else? Maybe like a global extremer problem, I might only give you one with like 1 boundary edge that I'm interested in. So I will try to do, maybe put you midway through a problem, give you some hints that'll make it more efficient to do the calculation. Next thing on the calculation part, after you finish your 2 hours. So again, let's say you decided you're going to do this on Saturday at 3 p.m. It's going to be done at 5 p.m. on OAKS, and then you have another 10 minutes to submit your scratch work. And that's really important that you have your name, your problems numbered and labeled, because that is actually going to, there's a lot more work this semester for us faculty, it seems to never end, that there will be assessment committees now. And I know this is in math and probably is in most of your STEM classes, because folks are just so concerned about integrity of grades and cheating this particular semester. So all that means is you guys are going to do fine. You're going to show off all that you know, all your knowledge. Think of the exam in that sense, and just show your work. And so we don't want, what they're really concerned in the assessment committee is that someone's just going to attack tool and copying step by step how to do a problem. And it's easy for us to kind of have hints that we're going to have to sort through all the finals, look at the work, and put them in a pile of like, definitely looks like they used the tech tool and cheated, maybe, and then these guys are fine. And there's probably going to be a lot of things going to the honor board. So not trying to scare you, just saying be on the lookout for that this is a concern this semester. So for you, when you submit your work, you finish, it's 5 o'clock, you finished everything, entering all your answers in on OAKS form, you now have 10 minutes to take that picture, put it in a Dropbox. There'll be a final exam Dropbox, just like you usually do, and upload the one PDF of all of your notes for the calculation problems. So if there's 15 calculation problems, make sure they're clearly labeled, you're showing your work. And we need that, otherwise your exam isn't complete, and has to be in 10 minutes because people are worried that, oh, maybe you now emailed a cousin that's an engineering major and had them show you the work. So we need it within 10 minutes of when you started that. Let's see. And also related to that, for our class, there are some ones where I'll ask you just to set up this problem. So show, maybe it's a, what's one, like a surface area problem, right? So those are some pretty nasty integrals, or some of those curtain integral problems. You have to show, set up the integral. That's the work that you're showing. You're writing down that you knew how to model that, and then it'll specifically say on that particular problem, and use a tech tool to complete the integration. So those you can do, and you're welcome to use the tech tool, and it'll specifically say which ones you can use. You can, but you cannot use it if it's a problem that says you have to work this by hand and show your work by hand, right? So it's open to open notes, open journal, open study guide, but it's closed to any other human. So again, you can't use your classmates, you can. Things will be randomized as well. This is the pain in the ass for me and Oaks, but have to randomize because again, we don't want, because it is asynchronous and this can't be proctored, this is what we're working with. So close to humans, you're gonna, on your honor that you were worked on your own. You're not helping anyone else either. Okay, I think those are all the details I need to say about the final exam. If you've got questions after watching this, shoot me an email, but I think that's all. All right, well, have a good week. We're almost to the end. You can do it. Like it's been a long, crazy semester, but you're really getting there. Last little section is vector fields, and it's a short chapter, and then you can start getting ready to prepare for this final. Okay, have a good week.